Hey everyone, Jason here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. To be honest with you, I don't know what my show is going to consist of primarily. Right now I'm in my room, and I'm batting around a few topics and subjects and things that'll work and what you guys will be interested in, as well as you could also just leave me a comment and suggest some things that you guys would be interested in talking about. I'm up for discussion, and just let me know. I I am actually very excited about this episode because this would be my first episode, episode 1, my pilot episode, and I'm making such a big deal out of it. But it's an awesome thing. I recently thought about some awesome things that I would do when I was little and as a kid, and I always went back to those toys. Those toys, everybody has those certain toys that they had in their closet, in their toy chest, in their toy bins, in their this, wherever they had their toys under their bed that they completely loved and just couldn't even, no, but I'm sure every one of you has a list of amazingly awesome ass toys growing up as a kid. And just like any normal kid, you held on to them and played with them and just clung and just took them everywhere, dragged them until the poor toy was just falling to pieces and just couldn't anymore. Aside from Hot Wheels cars and Barbies, almost infinite collection of McDonald's toys, and also in a time where before you discover video games, or the world basically, or anything else related to it once you pass childhood. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you, and I mean a lot of you, remember, and I sure as hell do too. And today I just so happen to have a list of some of those toys I definitely know I held near and dear, and super hope some of you guys do as well. Let's let's freaking do this. I'm nervous as all hell, so just please back away for a minute. No, I'm just kidding. Alrighty, so let's see. My first toy that always comes to mind is my Mad Pal 2. This robot was released by the Toy Biz Toy Company in 1993, and to be honest, it was one of the best toys of my freaking childhood. This robot was badass. He could seriously do anything for a kid that was 6 years old in 1993. I remember I played with mine all the time. It was with me all the time. Hell, I even freaking slept with it in the bed. I loved this thing. It was freaking insane. Like, I think about it and it's like, I just remember just me and this robot. I mean, you could play basketball, you could play ring toss. I remember he used to bark. I remember that you could roll him and he used to do different faces and things. His head was clear. You could see all the wires and all the cool mechanical parts inside. And it was just an amazing toy. I don't know if any of you out there from the 90s has ever seen or heard of or even touched or played with one of these things, but if you did, you had an awesome childhood. But mine, unfortunately, because seeing as how big of a klutz I am, I would have to keep my poor mom, she always had to freaking go to the store for me. She had to go back and exchange it because I kept dropping it and I would break them, and so like she actually went and got me like 2. She went and got one, I broke it, and then got the other one, and then after that, that was it. If I broke it, that was it. But then it mysteriously just disappeared, and I don't know what the hell happened to it. But either way, super mega good times from my childhood. The next toy on my list would definitely be another great one, and I know a lot of you know this toy. A lot of you, probably majority, probably every one of you, have had this toy. His name is Teddy Ruxpin. I believe I really like seriously believe yeah, no, this was before I had the My Pal 2. I know my nose is itching. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm very fidgety. I'm very my nose is very itchy for some ungodly reason. I don't know. I don't have allergies unless my fan counts as an allergy. And this one, though, this is a ginormous one. Like, this fan really is what saves me throughout the day. Um, Anywho, Teddy Ruxpin, this bear was awesome. This animatronic bear was released in 1985 by the Worlds of Wonder Company. Well, it was one of the most amazing thing a little kid could have. He brought in actually in the box. He brought an Annunciation, people, Annunciation, and an interactive tape with a really cool book along with him, and just that's what you got. And I just remembered I used to play and just sit and just listen and look at the pictures, because obviously when you're that young you don't know how to read. So and he was just some completely awesome. Again, he came with a cassette, but then there was a series of cassettes and books that obviously, the cassette and the book would come together, but there was like a series of different cassettes and books and stories with the characters. Supposedly there was even more dolls made to be able to interact with each other, that you could all buy separately. But I only had the bear, and he was awesome. I loved him to bits and pieces. He always went with me everywhere. And unfortunately, one day he ended up it was a disaster because I ended up getting him wet. It was raining. I was with my dad, and I was getting into his car. And the weird part is that the only thing that really touched anything wet, which was the car, was his nose. And I didn't think that would have done something, but apparently it did. And the next thing you know, his eyes were rolling in the back of his head, and his mouth's moving on its own, and just it was crazy. Actually got scared. Like, that's how crazy it was. Like, my mom had to take him and just put him away because I got like seriously scared. Like, it looked creepy as all hell. Like, you don't want to see your Teddy Ruxpin like that, especially that young. So yeah, so that's my Teddy Ruxpin experience. Which other one? The next one is Ghost Rider. Oh, not the show, not the board game. No, this thing was released by Ohio Art in 1991. This toy was actually it was like, I would say like a Magnadoodle. I don't know if it was the same size as a Magnadoodle, but the even cooler part is this thing was bad ass. The even cooler part about it is that inside, rather than having those white tile magnetic weird things that the Magnadoodle had, it had this really cool black-ish, like glittery, like really cool metallic looking goo. And it was really thick, and you can move it around, and you could see it move, and then you could draw on it with the pen that it came with. And it had little stamps you could use, and it was just amazingly awesome. On one side, it was just a big square, so you could just draw whatever the hell you wanted, basically. Like, I was on that thing for hours, always in my closet. My mom would go looking for me around the friggin' apartment, and I would be in my closet with the light on, Ghost Ridering it out, just having the blast, like the best time of my life. Like, I really suggest you look this toy up, because this thing is awesome. I don't know, I really hope someone else out there has had this other than me. I feel like I've been the only person in my entire life that has had this friggin' toy and actually knows what it is and what it does, and has actually played with it. And the other really cool part about it is that not just the big square on the one side, on the other side, if you flipped it over, it had a face shape, and it had other stamps with like different, like a mouth. I remember like a nose, eyes, like you could draw hair, you could, oh my god, it was like, I'm blowing my mind right now with a blast from the past because of this thing. Like, I really loved it. Like, you can tell, like right now in this freaking video, the way that I'm talking and the way that I'm recording it, you could definitely freaking tell. This was definitely on my top list of awesome toys. The next one is actually a very different toy, I would actually like to say. Different. It was there along the lines of like the cassette toys. Like I also had a Mickey Mouse. I had a cassette in his back that he would talk, and supposedly you could get the other characters and hook them up together, and they would all interact and talk, and it was really cool. I didn't ever get to the other characters, but I had the Mickey. He had two outfits, which was really cool. He had the Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey outfit, and then he had just his normal shorts and gloves, and it was really cool. I remember using that a lot too. But on top of that, I had a 2XL, but my 2XL was the 1992 version, which was really cool and innovative because, to be honest with you, it was along the lines of those cassette toys, Teddy Ruxpin, the Mickey Mouse I just mentioned, everything else that really required a cassette. It it was really cool because it had these like three or four, I think it was four buttons. It was four buttons, like A, B, C, and D. Like it had four buttons at the bottom, and it brought no book. Like there was no book at all. It was just the cassette. Like, and you could buy. There was a series, a ton of these cassettes for this little guy, and 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 I got stuck there for a second. But I put in the cassette, and I would go and take. I would just, oh my god, like, I would kill so many batteries with this thing. I felt so bad for my mom. I killed so many batteries. I would take it, put the cassette in, just sit down and play for hours. Like, and you didn't. It's not like you moved it around. It's not like you just sat it there, and you listened to it. And it was cool because he had these really cool stories, and he was funny, and he would give you trivia questions after each story to make sure that you're listening, and also during the story, if he would stop and give you options as to different outcomes and what would happen if you press button A, button B, button C, button D. And every time the options were the outcome was different. The options were always, it was endless, it was infinite, it was awesome. I think I only had like one or two tapes, but it didn't matter. It was the best freaking thing in the world, and I used the crap out of it. I unfortunately fried it, accidentally plugging in the wrong adapter for it, and long lived, that long lived 2XL 1992 version by Tiger Toys. Definitely not sponsored because I'm not. But amazing freaking toy. You guys have to look it up and just see. And to be honest with you, if it did come with a book, I'm not sure. If it did, let me know. Like, I could always be wrong. Like, I am just going off of my memories, and you know what? I was so little back then that I didn't even care if it was a book or not. I would just listen, and that was it. It's not a big deal. But yeah, no, I mean, I really don't think he comes with any books. But anyway, last but definitely not least on my list. Definitely not least, because this toy actually has a lot of sentimental value to me. This toy actually was very, 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 very short-lived. His name is Skippy Scribbles. Now, if you grew up in the 80s and in the 90s, you probably have an idea or know or had a Skippy Scribbles, but along with his female counterpart, maybe you had her name was Susie Scribbles. It came out in about 1987, same year I was born, which is awesome, by, Wonder Woman, excuse me, the Wonderama Toy Company from New Jersey. They came out, and I remember that I saw the commercial. I saw the commercial for this thing on TV. It was amazing. It's the cutest thing ever. It was a little teddy bear. At that point in time, I didn't know how exactly it worked. I just thought it was the most amazing thing because he was a cute little teddy bear with a desk, and he could write. He could freaking write. Now, for a little kid, I'd have to say I was about like 4. It's a long this memory's up there with like one of the first memories I have, which is at 4 years old playing my mom's records. I remember waking up. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself now. Seeing the commercial for this bear and completely wanting it, going crazy. I mean, just like any other kid would for any other toy. I begged my mom for it. My mom was like, "Oh, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see." And I remember waking up one night and seeing my mom, being upset. She got it actually, because I saw it there in my face. Like I wasn't very close to it because I was by the bedroom door, but I remember seeing it, and it was the coolest thing ever. Unfortunately, my mom was really, really pissed off because she ended up busting her ass to get it for me, and after finally being able to get it for me and waiting to see my reaction on getting it, waiting for me to play with it and seeing what it does and so on and so forth, it didn't work. So it was horrible for her, but I still definitely remember that, she put a lot of love and thought into that gift, and the memories obviously definitely still there, and the feelings and just everything that has to do with it. Like, hell yeah, I'm loved. Unfortunately, she's in the States. My mom's back in the States right now. But this toy was awesome. I actually ended up doing some research about it later on, obviously when I got older, because it just astounded me. Not very many people knew about it either. And I was like, oh, hell no. Like, I have to find out what this thing actually was, because at that time I didn't know how it worked. I just know that it wrote. And drew. Actually, I think it draws too. I'm not sure. Um, but it has also, it's another cassette toy. It's another toy that cassettes were the shiz back then. Wow. Now I'm thinking about it. It was another cassette toy, but these cassettes were different because what the cassettes did was that they would take and send signals to the arm, which had three pieces. The upper arm. Sorry, I'm trying to show you. The upper arm, the elbow, and the wrist, and sends the signals to these three joints and controls it and makes it draw. And I thought that was just freaking ludicrous once I read that. Because for that point in time, for that type of technology, and coming off of cassette tape, like, whoa, freaking killer. And so, like, this toy just continues to amaze me. I wish I could see one in person. Like, that would be just awesome. Well, obviously I saw it in person, but I mean, now that I'm older, I get to experience it and just look at it and see what it does. Um, but yeah, so that is my list of awesome, awesome, freaking badass toys that I had when I was younger. I hope that some of you, resonated with these. Some of you, like, had these. Some of you know of these. Like, comment, let me know. Like, these were pretty, really awesome toys, especially for me. These are ones that I definitely hold on my list as near and dear. And I definitely hope that some of you did too. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. You may comment, like, subscribe, anything you want to do. I'm here at your disposal. Well, I don't think I would say your disposal, but I'm here. Thank you again, and take care.